Vaporwave. Vaporwave is a digital art and music aesthetic that emerged in the early 2000s and 10s. It's deeply nostalgic and heavily ironic, rooted in 80s and 90s consumer culture. Visually, it uses pastel colors, neon grids, VHS static, Japanese text, Roman bus, Windows 95 UI elements, and corporate logos. But it's more than just visuals. Vaporwave music often slows down and chops up old elevator music, smooth jazz, or mall tunes to create a dreamy, melancholic soundscape. The genre critiques capitalism and hyper-consumerism by aestheticizing it. Think of the Floral Shoppy album by Macintosh Plus, or those looping 24/7 Vaporwave radio streams. It's nostalgia weaponized, turning the comforting sounds and sights of childhood media into something distant and surreal. Frutiger Aero. Frutiger Aero isn't an intentional movement, but a retrospective label for a distinct style found across early 2000s tech branding. Named after the Frutiger font and the Aero visual style used in Windows Vista and 7, it's all about a sleek, natural, and highly polished aesthetic. You'll recognize it in swirling blue-green gradients, water droplets, transparent gloss, lens flares, and clean sans serif typography. Look at the Windows XP default wallpaper, or old Microsoft and Samsung ads. Nature mixed with futuristic minimalism. Frutiger Aero represented a brief era of optimism about technology's harmony with nature, before minimalism and flat design took over. It's now appreciated as the nostalgic look of the future we were promised. Skeuomorphism. Skeuomorphism is a design philosophy where digital interfaces mimic real-world textures and objects. Before smartphones became ultra-flat and abstract, early software relied on skeuomorphic design to make new tech feel familiar. Apple's iOS used this heavily. Apps like Notes looked like yellow paper with torn edges, and the calendar resembled stitched leather. It was everywhere in the 2000s. Calculator apps that looked like real calculators, contacts apps with faux address books. The aesthetic aimed to guide users through visual metaphor. But as digital literacy improved, designers moved toward flatter, cleaner styles. Skeuomorphism is now viewed with nostalgia, seen in retro UI revivals and even ironic recreations by Gen Z designers. Analog horror. Analog horror is a genre and aesthetic that uses outdated media formats, VHS tape distortion, CRT screen overlays, static and glitchy broadcast, to create a sense of dread. It thrives on lo-fi, faux documentary realism, popularized by YouTube series like Local 58, The Mandela Catalog, and Gemini Home Entertainment. Analog horror often imitates public access TV, safety PSAs, or government broadcasts gone wrong. The power lies in the uncanny, familiar visual formats corrupted with unsettling content. Emergency messages from unknown entities, distorted children's shows, or fake scientific footage. It blends nostalgia with fear, making it feel like you're watching something you were never meant to see. Liminal spaces. Liminal spaces are physical or digital images of in-between places. Hallways, stairwells, empty malls, vacant schools at night. They're often brightly lit but devoid of life, triggering a sense of eerie familiarity. This aesthetic taps into the unconscious, places that feel like they're from dreams, childhood memories, or games you played as a kid. The Backrooms meme is the ultimate example, an infinite maze of yellow wallpaper, buzzing lights, and soft carpet. It's about displacement, spaces that should be full of people but aren't. Liminality also touches on time. No, these are places you passed through, not places you stayed. The emotional effect is hard to pin down, somewhere between nostalgia, anxiety, and calm. Y2K. The Y2K aesthetic spans from about 1998 to 2004. It imagines the future through glossy, tech-forward, maximalist visuals. Chrome textures, metallic fabrics, transparent plastics, bubbly fonts, and deep blues and purples. Influenced by the optimism and fear of entering a new millennium, it showed up in fashion, media, and tech. Think early Britney Spears, Destiny's Child, PlayStation 2 startup screens, the film Hackers, or the UI and Xenon Girl of the 21st century. Y2K design embraced excess, showing the internet as a space of freedom, style, and innovation. Before the iPhone and minimal design reset everything. Today, Y2K is back in fashion and music videos, reimagined by Gen Z artists and designers. Weirdcore. Weirdcore is an aesthetic built from surreal, low-quality images paired with cryptic, often unsettling text. It often evokes dreams, childhood memories, or an internet-era uncanny valley. Weirdcore images typically feature empty landscapes, distorted objects, fisheye lenses, or early 2000s graphics, overlaid with phrases like, "you do not exist," or "there is no exit." The result is both comforting and disturbing. It overlaps with dreamcore and nostalgiacore and reflects themes of derealization, lost time, and identity. You might have seen Weirdcore on Tumblr, TikTok, or SoundCloud visuals. It's not just visual, it's emotional. A blurry screenshot of a memory you never had. Web 1.0. Web 1.0 refers to the first era of the internet, roughly 1995 to 2005. Pages were hand-coded HTML with wild colors, tiled backgrounds, Comic Sans, GIF buttons, and guestbooks. There was no design consistency, just creativity and chaos. Web 1.0 was the age of GeoCities, Neopets, and fan-made anime shrines. Sites felt personal, experimental, and strange, run by hobbyists, not corporations. You could customize everything, even if it looked terrible. Now, Web 1.0 is viewed with nostalgia for a time when the internet wasn't curated by algorithms or ads. It's being revived in digital art and indie projects that want to recapture its spirit, messy, weird, and human.